So I've been asked by a number of people about how I sharpen my gouges and tools. And of course, the tools that we're talking about are usually something along these lines where they have a curved tip to them. This is a number 6, and this is a 2 cherries piece. And of course, it's all polished up and everything else like that. But the important thing is, how do you get this angle here, and then how do you get that sharp? And so a lot of people are afraid that if they have a grinder, how do you're going to ruin your tool. And so they're kind of afraid on that. So I recommend, if you're practicing, is go out, get yourself a 1/2-inch pipe, and then this happens to be threaded. So that kind of helps a little bit when you're learning, so that you can see the different gradation. And then I'm using a grinder that happens to be called Pro Edge. It can be any flat surface grinder. This is a 2-inch belt. And the recommendation it actually has over here, it has 15 degrees for skew chisels and 20 degrees for single bevel edge wood working chisels, softwood, bevel angle for parting tools, and then 25 degrees for honing angle for chisels, softwood, bench iron, standard carving chisels. So it says 25 degrees. I have this set at the 20 degree because I have keep mine a little sharper, and so I like this Pro Edge because it has this edge. I set this at the degree that I want, and then this is where it's going to lie. And I'm just going to rotate this here, taking off the edge as we go, and I'll show that. It probably gets kind of noisy. So let's go ahead and see that. I have some water over here, and if I'm using my chisels, I'll often have a jar of vegetable oil. I don't heat these like on Forged in Fire, where they're like, time to quench, and then they have this big old fire. I never get mine that hot, because then I'm changing the whole temperature and everything else, and we're just putting an edge on this. Sorry about the background here. I was just trying to give something to give it a little bit different contrast, so I grabbed this scrap board that I have over here. Okay. So I just turn it. So let's take a look. You can already see how it's putting a nice curvature on that. You can see where it needs to go a little bit. Keeping this down here. This does have a little guide tray that you can buy and attach, and then it keeps it at the very exact same area. So by holding this, I can actually feel the temperature on it. I don't want to get it too hot, even though it's just scrap pipe. So now I can actually feel metal being pushed into here. I can actually feel the metal, see, being pushed in here. And then what I do is I have these different Kratex rubberized sharpening tools, and then I'll take that Kratex and you go, well, I don't have any Kratex, you know. Everybody says, well, I don't have exactly your tools. Okay, get yourself a dowel about this width, thickness, wrap around some sandpaper, and there you go. So because I had cut this with a hacksaw, I'm going to straighten the tip out. So then I'm going to run over here to a buffer wheel that I have, and it has some polishing compound on it, and I'll just put a little bit more final edge. Bear with me. And so that's a buffing wheel. It's just a hard cloth wheel and buffing compound, and you just kind of rub it the very same way that I was doing this. This is not perfection. Again, this is soft steel. But let's get a piece of wood. Always have a piece of wood sitting around. Okay, and then where's the mallet? So you can see where the circle is, and then where I went across cross grain with this, cutting like that. Not bad for a piece of $2 steel. And of course you could round the whole thing, and then you have a punch that goes like this, and then that would give you the shape of a rounded grape, or other such things that then you could use to carve. Okay, that's it. Pretty easy, huh?